Tell her happy birthday.
It's not her birthday.
Okay.
Tell her happy birthday anyway, you know.
Yeah. Why not? She's had multiple birthdays. She deserves. I've missed a couple, I'm sure.
I would say maybe you missed one.
Yeah.
You have missed one since, you know. Where do I don't. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where my tea should go, because when I moved my monitors, so they weren't as far over to.
Well, I mean, typically I drink tea with my mouth, so.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where it should go, because where I had it, it was in front of the screen, so I couldn't see. But then I gotta move my little Alolan Vulpix plushie. God, what is going on with my phone?
Did you? That's so sweet.
Audio Shop went live. I hate those guys.
I hate those guys.
Let's dox them.
Aw. Guys, I got a free shirt today.
Ooh. Now look at you.
Yeah.
Rolling big. Does it say, is it like a company shirt?
No, it's just something that they sell. It's like anything they sell at the store. Depending on how many points you earn, you can earn points by like just doing random things like getting people to sign up for rewards, getting people to sign up for credit cards, meeting like hourly quota. If you beat the price, or not price, but like if you beat the total of what they earned last year on the same day at the same hour, then you get points for that. And so at the end of the day, they just like figure out who's there and what they accomplished during the day, and then they give you points. And then depending on how many points you have, you can get a whole bunch of free stuff. And so I had like 300 some points, and so I was able to get something that was worth $29.95 or below. And so I picked out a shirt that I'd had my eye on for like a week now, and I just got it for free.
Well, there we go.
That's pretty good.
Literally so
Smart.
nice. Yeah. But
Big brain.
I have some other stuff that I bought. My mom gave me $100 for my birthday.
Oh.
And she was like, here's $100, because I asked her for an American Eagle gift card, and she's like, I'll just put money in your account. And I was like, okay. So she put $100 in my account, and she was like, spend this on whatever you like. And I was like, well, I'm going to spend it on clothes because I have a really good discount. And so I got a whole bunch of stuff that was normally like $180 some, and I ended up getting it for like $67.
Hey.
And so I got a really good deal on that, and then I just got another free shirt today, so that was exciting.
Big moves with the sales.
Speaking of $100, I need your guys' input. So I just got a $100 gift card from AT&T.
To Olive Garden?
No.
Olive Garden.
I'm guessing it's because they're going to up my rate at some point. They're like, well, technically, you're paying us back for the money. Some bullshit like that. I don't know. But do I save it and use it responsibly, or do I get a GameCube?
A GameCube?
Yes.
Wait, what was that picture of a GameCube you posted earlier? Is that the one you want?
Well, I was just last night while we were chatting, I was going through eBay looking at the purple GameCubes that were on
there. Okay. Is that the one you posted in there? Okay, I didn't know if you posted that or if like you got it and then set it up and took a picture of it.
No. I was well, I sent you guys that one because I couldn't figure out if it was purple, because my blue light filter, it looked black.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't look at the picture because I was sitting on the bed and Jonah was over here, so I wasn't paying attention.
You missed a fun time last night, Cooper.
Oh, I'm sure. I was having a little fun myself.
Oh, what were you doing?
I was working on a design paper for chemical engineering.
I thought you were going to say you had a date.
No, unless a date with knowledge.
Went out to the bars.
No.
Cooper doesn't go out to the bars anymore.
Something less.
Now, I only drink to cope nowadays.
Oh.
Said as a true college student, Cooper.
You get the paper done, though?
Oh, yeah, I was actually just finishing it up before I jumped on. I'm going to submit it after today's podcast.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice job.
Is it, like, due at midnight?
It's technically due tomorrow, like, noon. But, you know.
Oh, okay, well, you
submit it now. Don't have to worry about it overnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then I also want to be up and early to, you know, see Sam off to his new job.
Do you?
I'll have you a nice little packed lunch.
Please, I gotta pack lunch after this. I'm gonna have to.
I put a note in there to let you just make sure day's going well.
PB&J with some Fiesta salsa sun chips.
Ooh, those are so
Best
good.
flavor.
Those.
Don't get me wrong, I love a good harvest cheddar, but the salsa ones I could just eat a whole bag in one sitting.
The salsa ones are so good.
Yeah.
I could go for some salsa chips right now.
I feel really proud. It's my first proper, shopping trip when I'm not having to Matt saying people drink without the goal to cope.
Matt doesn't have to drink. He just the air of alcohol touches him, he gets drunk.
Get drunk off of kombucha.
Tipsy at work off of kombucha.
Kombucha.
The funniest
Such a move.
Less than 0.5% alcohol.
When text I'm like he's actually shitting us, right?
He didn't know it was alcoholic until he started feeling tipsy.
It's not alcoholic. It's 0.25%.
No,
I mean, that's still kind of alcoholic.
0.5%.
0.5%.
Less than even. But anyway, this was my first proper shopping trip when I didn't have to buy a bunch of cleaning supplies.
That's good.
It was only like $40. So
wow.
Granted, $5 of it was sparkling water. I bought 8.
I mean, stock up, right?
I want one for every day of the week.
A good idea.
I actually forgot to get them and went back separately for them.
Just to be sure.
I have to have them.
I will die without them.
I
They're
need
just
them.
good. And there was a sale on cereal, and I already had a coupon, so that made me feel real good.
Oh, well, look at you. Who would have thought?
I paid like $4 for a giant box of Lucky Charms and a box of Cocoa Puffs.
Well, you're set for the month.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fill a bag with that. That can be your lunch. You can eat like a mule. Just tape it to your face.
Sam, you can really, stop working while you eat. No, it's all right. I got the bag. I don't have to use my hands. I might as well keep them occupied.
Or I'll buy you a sandwich. Here's real food in the cafeteria. No, I'm trying to save up. Save up for what?
Money.
More Lucky Charms.
More sparkling water, don't you know? I hoard it.
Don't you know?
Oh, don't you know?
Sam, just don't become that guy that throws your empty sparkling water bottles just next to your bed. So then when you move your bed, you have 20 empty things of plastic water bottles. No. You know those people.
Awful. Oh yeah, be that guy.
No.
Just wade through them.
My parents brought me. They had a spare little just bin thing in the garage because this apartment complex actually has recycling. So I can.
No, you don't have. You don't have a plastic closet.
Well, it's in my pantry, but it's not I don't have to wait a month to take it out. So.
Yeah, because you don't have to do it all together.
I don't have to sort it.
Yeah.
Sadly, the dumpster's for cardboard only, but they have a bunch of little recycling bins. So.
Oh, that's good.
But those fill up really quickly, so you kind of have to see they're empty and then go take the big bin over there and dump it real quick before anybody else gets there before you.
Are there a lot of people in your apartment complex?
It's a pretty big complex. They just built. There's 4 sections.
Oh yeah, they just built another building or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they just built a whole new area. Where the office is brand new. I don't know where it used to be. They probably didn't have an office. But those apartments are really nice. But this one has a garage, so I went with this. Even if it was $100 more a month.
Well, you just got $100 in cash. So look at you.
I figured
cash
or in gift card.
I don't think AT&T would just hand him $100 bill and be like, "Go nuts."
They just texted it to him.
I mean, it's a Visa gift card, so technically they did.
Yeah, you can use it anywhere.
I gotta take my sweatshirt off real quick. I'm heating up.
It was a warm day today.
So I'll probably get hot too. Not hot, but I might get a little warm. I lit a candle, so it smells all nice.
Yeah, there were people. I was walking around to get my mail, and there were people with their windows open and wearing shorts. I'm like, okay, yeah, granted, it's pretty warm.
It was a really nice day today.
Could be fine with shorts, but still a little nippy.
When I was on my way to work, I saw 2 kids playing outside in light jackets, and I was like, I think you might need something more than that. But also, I appreciate that you're playing outside.
No, I think light jacket is fine, but people had their windows open here. It's I wouldn't say it's warm enough for that. It's only 58 outside, guys.
I mean that's warm.
It is, but
it's temperate.
Maybe they're from northern Canada and it's quite warm for them right now.
That's true.
I mean, you never know where people are from and what what temperature they like. I learned that a lot because a lot of people that I knew in college were like it would be 50 degrees and I'd be like, dang, it's so nice outside. And people that I knew from other countries or like who were from Florida or Texas or whatever would be like, how are you not in a winter coat? It's so cold outside. And I'm like, it's 50 degrees. It's not that bad. And they're like, it's so cold. And I'm like, come on, you guys.
That's all what you're used to.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to hop into it. It's been the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I have a bio, so I can read the bio if you would like me to.
Sure, yeah.
I wrote this by myself with the help of Wikipedia. So this is not quoted from Wikipedia, but it's definitely helped by Wikipedia.
That's what we usually do. Let's do a quick intro, though. Just
even
though we don't cut it down and no one ever listens to the VOD, but it's good to have structure in your life.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Audio Shop podcast. This week, Cooper and I are joined by Karmen. She's back again with a not god-awful album. If you may recall, last time she was here, we listened to Imagine Dragons Origins, which has been firmly planted at the bottom of the tier list ever since.
I like to think it topped our charts of worst albums.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
The worst.
Yes, exactly.
It is. I'm pretty sure it's the only thing other than blasting speakers that has made me sick from listening to. I actually got a headache. But this time she came back with Rare by Selena Gomez, which Cooper misspelled in the Google Doc.
Ooh.
It's Selena.
That's what that's what I said.
That's what I said.
That's what I said.
But we listened to this, and Carmen's got a little bit of history about Selena and this album, and then we'll get right to it. So
some tea to spill, as they say.
I mean, there might be tea later, but there's no tea in my intro.
Okay, good. Tealess intro. Keep it.
Tealess intro. We'll get into some tea later. Okay. So, Selena Gomez is a 28-year-old singer, songwriter, actress, and TV producer. A former Disney starlet, Gomez not only started early in her music days, but also in her acting days, starring in the Disney Channel original series Wizards of Waverly Place.
Ooh.
While still being a part of Disney, she released 3 albums with her band, Selena Gomez and The Scene. After Disney, she starred in a few more movies and went solo from her band, releasing 2 albums and 1 compilation album before taking a break for medical reasons. 5 years after her second solo album, Revival, Rare was released in January 2020 with the lead solos Lose You to Love Me and Look at Her Now. Rare debuted #1 on the Billboard 200 as the first of the decade, and her 3rd in a row Billboard 200 #1, beating out former One Direction member Louis Tomlinson's debut solo album Walls. The deluxe version of the album includes former standalone singles released throughout her 5-year album gap, such as Bad Liar, Fetish, It Ain't Me with Kygo, Back to You, and Wolves with Marshmello. And I have a fun fact about the album. Phineas, who you probably know as Billie Eilish's brother,
yes,
worked on one of the singles, Lose You to Love Me, providing some instrumentation and helping with the programming and producing of the track.
Oh, good, because he is an excellent producer.
He is.
don't like the fact that he dates somebody that looks exactly like his sister, though. That's kind of creepy.
That is kind of weird.
She's just blonde and looks like Billie Eilish.
Yeah, exactly.
They have the same face and they're the same height, and if you put them in a room together, I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah, but they're legally not related, Sam, which is the key factor to any good relationship.
The key factor.
The key factor.
Yeah,
yes.
This was I mean, honestly, Carmen, you had nowhere to go but up after last time.
Let's not proof your honor too much for the Origins thing.
And we all went into that with high hopes. Yeah, you hadn't listened to it either, so
Yeah, I really
had a pass.
I'd listened to it once. And I wasn't even listening to it. I had it on in the background of me doing something else, so I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
Yeah, exactly. Is in your vicinity, so it was And
I also liked all of the other Imagine Dragons albums, so I was like, hey, what's this new album going to be except just something else that I enjoy? Unfortunately, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's hard to predict when there's going to be a stinker album.
Yeah.
I had very high hopes for From Out of Nowhere. It was still a pretty good album, but it was nowhere as good as I wanted it to be. So
It's From Out of Nowhere is good.
yeah,
I mean, he's like 88 now.
I don't think he's still in his 70s. I think.
Same difference.
Not really. All right.
All kinds of blend together.
Closer to 80s than to 20s, am I right?
True.
Exactly.
let's hop into it with track number 1, Rare.
Rare, the title track.
Title track right off the go.
Also, technically the third single of the album, although she released it as the single when the album came out. So I think it's just like the radio single for the album release.
Okay. I always was confused with how singles and them worked. I guess it's just for like a radio play, basically.
Yeah. I think a lot of singers and like artists nowadays, when they release their full album, they'll release something as a quote-unquote single, even though it's not really a single, but it's just like something they'll push for radio play. So people will check out the rest of the album, and it's not a single that like they've already been hearing for the past few months.
Oh, makes sense. Renew interest.
I see a lot of like pop singers that I'm into do it a lot. Like Kesha just did it with her album. Like a lot of the One Direction boys did it when they did their solo albums last year. So
I mean, even some of the Electric Light Orchestra songs came out as solos the day the album dropped. So it's a pretty industry standard practice.
Industry standard.
But this one's a bit. It caught me off guard. I came into this, I didn't know what to expect. I had never listened to any Selena Gomez ever. All I knew is that she was on Wizards of Waverly Place. But the bongo start kind of caught me off guard.
Yes, it's a very low key kind of a sparse opening.
Yeah,
very underplayed.
That backing drum line though is pretty bad. Until about 40 seconds in, but I'm not a fan of whatever filter they put on that.
You mean
thing.
kind of the trash can drum sound it has going on?
That's
like it's kind of metallic.
Yeah.
It is definitely.
I
think it works well with the bass line it kind of accompanies. It kind of adds to kind of echoey, just kind of Selena and the backing.
I agree. I kind of like the background of this. I feel like a lot of the stuff that she did on this album is very different than stuff she's done in the past. And so like with the beginning of it, it kind of like doesn't throw you for a loop, but if you're used to listening to a lot of Selena's like generic pop from the past, this is quite different than what she's done before. So I feel like when they lead with that, it kind of shows you like, hey, this is going to be a little different. Like she's grown up. It's been 5 years since her last album. And this is kind of more what you're going to expect than kind of bubblegum pop that she might have done before.
Yeah. I particularly enjoyed the spoons that were in the background.
Yeah.
If you guys
the
noticed
spoons
those.
with the snaps.
Yeah. Gee, I'll get on this later, but what is with hand percussion as of late? It was huge on this album. It was huge on Green Day. Is there some new pop?
Well,
current trend with hand percussion?
I don't think it's a current trend. I just think something that can like get the audience like into it. All right, audience have cans, or at least most of them do. Right, so if you can snap or clap along, that's kind of gets involved. I mean, a lot of this is definitely head bop music. Even if this one's like super, really low key. And almost goes for like this skeletal feel before like obviously later in the song there's a good chorus progression of like synth and percussion and guitar starts to fill out the chorus as it's repeated. But so it got these like little disparate elements, jumping back and forth that add to a pretty relaxed feel, like surprisingly relaxed, especially with Selena's. I'm not going to say that her voice is like anything like out of this atmosphere, but it's definitely good for this kind of mellow take on things, on kind of a pop sound.
Yeah, she doesn't have a voice that like you listen to it and you're like, wow, that's incredible. Like a lot of like when I first started listening to Ariana Grande, I was like, her voice is just so crazy good that it's like crazy to think that she's mostly just a pop star. But Selena has a very good voice. I really enjoy it. That's why she was always one of my like favorite Disney starlets. Like back in the day, I really liked what she put out, like her music, because I really liked her voice. But it does lend very well to kind of the styles that she does on this album.
Yeah, and she kind of goes a different way, but at the beginning of this is certainly more about the sound of her voice as opposed to what she's actually saying. There's what is it? There was that pause there in the middle that I liked. I liked it early on. This is before it became a bit much, but where kind of everything drops out and it's just her singing, and then sometimes there's a full break. Mm-hmm. This one was held for just a second too long, but it was really, really nicely done. You know, the progression is really nice. On this one, I wasn't a fan of after the break, they removed all the progression and started back up from nothing. That kind of
like the dropout.
Yeah, but it wasn't just drop out and come back in. It was drop out back to the beginning of the song and then build again. It just felt a little clunky, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
It is a little stop and start elements to it. I didn't mind it as much on this opening song, but I guess whenever it's easier to maybe let that go when the instrumentation's kind of sparse to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there are times where in the album where it'll switch, kind of like it does in this first song, where it'll take a turn and either take away all of the buildup that it's done before, or it'll take a different turn. And there are a couple songs where I don't think it fits very well, but I do like it on this one. I think taking it back to the beginning kind of worked for it.
I think my biggest issue is with that trash can drum beat, as Cooper was saying.
Yeah, fair.
You don't like how metallic and kind of echoey it sounds?
No, I just don't like the filter.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I will say I feel like that the melodic lick that she uses, the mid note, high note, low mid note thing. If you know what I'm talking about, just the way she ends a line is used a lot. Especially in like newer pop songs that we've listened to, and it's not bad. I like it, but I don't know. It really popped out to me. Like, man, it's kind of obvious that this is a part of a larger trend.
Mm-hmm.
But of like being a little more sparse in your elements.
Not necessarily that, but the lick, where if you want to make a song stand out, you use that kind of mid, high, low, in really quick succession. It's like, ooh, this is kind of nice.
I mean, yeah, this is a pop album through and through.
Yeah,
I think she goes into interesting directions with it, but she's not inventing an entire new genre.
An album. It's not doing anything too crazy. Like, it's different for her, but it's not like different for pop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah. I still think it's a neat single.
It is, yeah. It's a very good song.
I like it.
I was gonna add that this song has one of my favorite lines that I chuckled at when I first heard it, when she says, "Burning toast on the toaster. A, what does that mean? B, did you just use it for the rhyme? Like, I don't know why it's in there. I don't know what it means, but I liked it."
I mean, that's the one place I'd expect toast to be burnt on. Yeah. So,
I said, you just got to ignore it. One of this. What is it? The next song is even worse about that. It's just complete gibberish, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
Some of these songs definitely have more meaning than others. I mean, this one's about like, we're all queens, we're all rare, that kind of thing, queen. Which I can respect.
Yeah.
Truly an album of self-discovery for Selena here.
Yeah, it very much is. Especially because she took that 5-year hiatus. Not really doing anything. I mean, she was writing this album throughout the 5 years, and she was releasing some singles that end up on the deluxe album, I guess. But a lot of it was through a lot of stuff that she was going through at the time. So definitely something that she was growing with and helping her grow, I'm sure, with songwriting.
Jumping to track number 2 then. Dance Again.
Dance Again.
Mm-hmm. So this is another fun fact that I have. This is just to the song. Dance Again is actually the official song of this year's March Madness.
Oh, really?
I saw an ad for March Madness, and she was in it with this song, and it was like, this is the song for March Madness this year. And I was like, oh, okay.
Huh. This one?
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, I saw this as more of a club beat. Like, it definitely felt like
It's definitely clubbing.
it's a club beat.
Yep.
There's like, I heard a couple of the lyrics and they just sounded ridiculous. So it's definitely just for the sound of her voice as opposed to what she's actually saying. And granted,
Well, it's a very danceable quality too,
yeah, it
right?
does, except for that breakdown. But I'm just a sucker for the electronica, so I
Yes.
really
There's
love
plenty
that
of synth in
electronic bass line.
Yeah, this is one of the songs where the synth is really good, and I really liked it. But yeah, the lyrics aren't great. This song actually, it took me a while to warm up to this song. The first time I heard it, I was like, okay, like this is an all right song. It's not one of my favorites, but after a couple times I listened to it, I was like, yeah, like the beat is really good. Like it's a really good dance song. And if you don't listen too carefully to the lyrics, it sounds really great too.
I mean, it's about dance. This one's definitely more service level of like,
Yeah.
though it goes for a very almost hypnotic type
Yeah.
feeling to it. Like you're dancing yourself into a trance, which I guess if you're on the dance floor and a couple drinks deep,
Couple drinks in.
Selena pops on.
Imagine yourself. It's 1
Or
a.m.
it's March
You're
Madness.
at where else? Dance
You're at
again
where else?
above the speakers.
I love this song.
Life is good.
I will
Where's
say,
Matt?
I want to talk to Matt.
I will say, I wish this one had a bit more progression to it. It kind of put everything it had on the table at the start, and didn't really grow anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not a bad song.
Oh yeah, this one's definitely. I mean, I think you're just recognize it as like kind of a club dance beat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're like, okay, yeah, it definitely fulfills that
See-
with that plucky bass and that clap percussion.
I would
Mhm.
definitely agree with because that was my initial, gut reaction to is, oh, it's just a club beat. But then there's that whole breakdown and slow part, and I'm like, I can't see any DJ playing this.
That's not. This isn't the club mix.
Oh, right, okay. my
Yeah,
bad.
it would definitely, like, if they played it in a bar or whatever, there would definitely be, it would be one of those songs where they play it with another song at the same time. So they would, like, play the other song during that slow part, or they would just completely, like, chop off the last half of the song when that slow part starts and switch to a different song.
Mm,
But it is
definitely,
really beefy and clubby.
Because definitely a weird breakdown of like these like pianos like sinking into an abyss, which I imagine to be a bit of a mood killer.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm getting introspective. Selena.
Why am I here? Jump into track
Yeah.
number 3 if you guys are ready.
Oh yeah,
Look at her now.
look at her now. Who would have
Yeah.
thought?
This is kind of surprising to me that it's the third track, because it was the second single from her album, and she actually released it as a surprise single the day after she released Lose You to Love Me.
Oh.
It was the lead single, and she released Lose You to Love Me and the music video at the same time, and then the next day she actually said, here's a surprise second single for all of my fans who have stuck with me through this journey, who have helped me and supported me through everything that was going on. And then she released the song and the music video for this song the day after. So,
I will say this is an okay song, but I really hate the noise.
I was the yeah, I was also.
It's got
That's-
it's weird. It's got a different filter on it than the rest of the music. It has a bit of electronic edge to it. Ugh, it was.
I agree.
It was so bad.
Something that I wrote down in my kind of my judgment of the album at whole was that there's some songs that have really weak parts, but I like the song in general. It's just some of the song I don't like, and this is definitely like one of those songs where I like most of the song, but I don't like the part in the chorus when it's basically just ab-lid humming and like random noises. That's the part where, like, the first time I heard this song, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this song because I just really don't like that part. But as I kept listening to it, I liked everything else about the song, but I still just I don't think it fits very well. I don't like it very much. I kind of get that they're going for like maybe an EDM kind of vibe, where some like EDM artists will take samples of like the other like parts of the song, the other lyrics, and like make it into something completely different. But I just think it fell short of that in this chorus, the way that they did it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I definitely respect that Selena's going for. It's almost like glitch pop where it's like kind of snapping or sample some of these glitchy aesthetics. And a lot of it throughout the song, I really dig. The chorus, yeah, it kind of kills it for me. It's such a weird, out of place sample.
Yeah.
It kind of sticks out like a like I'm being mocked by like a video game character.
There's a part in the very end where they do the little humming part, and then they clip like a different part of the song and put it over it, and they kind of play it together. And I think that sounded really good. It's kind of at the end, right before the song is over. And I think if they would have done that like in the actual chorus, it would have been a lot better. But they only sampled it like very briefly at the end. And I like that with the like lyrics on top of it. But when there were no lyrics on top of it, I just was not a fan.
Yeah, I just don't like it. This one, the feeling I got from this one was that we played in the next generation Apple Store, where they've removed all physical products because it clashes with the minimalism.
It is rather a clean synth pop take. Yeah. Feel like I'm living in Blade Runner, but maybe not in the good way.
Yeah, I will say I liked her. They used some of her singing samples for the keyboard, which added a bit of a nice touch. But other than that, it's like, oh god, here comes the chorus again. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear them. Jump to track number 4 then.
Yeah, let's continue on.
Yeah.
Lose You to Love Me.
Lose You to Love Me.
This is the first single that she actually put out for the song.
It's the sad one.
It's the sad one, yes. I think this is, I don't remember if this was a surprise single or if they planned to release this, but this is the lead single. The first time I heard it, I cried. I was just so excited. It was mostly because I was excited for her to come back, because she hadn't released an album, like I said, in 5 years. It had been a really long time. But I was really excited, and this song is really emotional, especially for her, because if any of you didn't know, if you don't keep up with celebrity dating,
I do not.
Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber dated for a really, really long time when she was on Disney, when they were a lot younger. And they were in an on-again, off-again relationship for a really long time back then. And then they broke up for a really long time. And in that time, Hailey Baldwin dated Justin Bieber. Hailey Baldwin is Justin Bieber's current wife now. They got back together, I think 2 or 3 years ago in the fall, and they were only together for like a month, and then they like cut it off. And Selena was like, I'm done, no more. I'm done with you. Like, you're too crazy for me or whatever. I don't remember why they wrote it. But this song is really like, you can really tell that she wrote this song about Justin Bieber, because the specific line when she says 2 months to replace us like it was easy was talking about how when they got back together in the fall, after they broke up 2 months later, he literally married Hailey Baldwin.
Wow.
So that line is very, very specifically about Justin Bieber, and the rest of the song you can kind of tell by the lyrics and like the story that she's telling is also about him. And you can tell in the previous song, Look at Her Now, that's also very much about Justin Bieber too.
And now he looks like a guy who hangs outside a 7-Eleven at night.
That's
the only celebrity stuff I see is because everybody posts pictures of meth head Justin Bieber.
Meth head Justin Bieber.
She's embracing a mustache.
They're not wrong.
I guess it's Canadian, so it'd be a Tim Hortons, but whatever.
Tim Hortons. No. Tim Hortons aren't sketchy enough. Tim Hortons are respected.
It's got to be the Tim Hortons in the sketchy gas station.
Oh yeah, it's a Tim Hortons connected to a sketchy gas station.
Yeah. But this was kind of a good step away from the electronic and poppiness that has been so far. I really love the piano, and this one really made me aware. Like, I can tell she's being auto-tuned, but like I can't pick out where it's auto-tuned. Because when I think of auto-tune, I think of T-Pain, and that level of auto, which is not realistic in the slightest.
Yeah. And honestly, nowadays, autotune's a lot more of a subtle art.
Exactly.
It's more touch up than
Like, I could tell that there was a few things that were like, that sounds a little bit off. It's like it's probably being used all over the place, and I can't even tell. But that just makes me think: is she releasing an album because she's actually a good singer, or is it just because she's famous? Like,
I don't think she's like amazing, but I think she's very
Well, there's a lot of average singers in the world, and we're not reviewing their album. We're reviewing hers. So if we get Cooper famous and then auto-tune him, I think we could have.
Then I will be able to date Justin Bieber.
Oh God, he's married. I think it kind of goes back to the point that we were talking about before, where like she's not one of those people that when you listen to her, you're like, wow, that's an incredible voice. Like her voice is so crazy. She's like a good singer, and I think that definitely like plays. And I'm not saying that's why they use the auto-tune on her, but I think it's definitely probably, like Cooper said, to like help touch up some things, because not everybody can be absolutely perfect in singing. And she was a Disney girl, so I'm sure, except for Jeff Lynne.
Calm down.
But I'm sure like when she was on Disney, they auto-tuned her. She sounds way different like when she was younger, probably because they auto-tuned her voice to go up, I think. I think that's kind of more what they use auto-tune for. Maybe I'm just telling myself that because I like to think she's a good singer. But that's just what I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of in between where, to me, I mean, even if it's like, she's more of like, it's less of like Selena Gomez's album and more like she's like the front man to a band that the album represents, you know? Because obviously this album, just looking at the track listing, it has an army of writers and producers at her back. So it's like, I mean, but that just varies from album to album. Like ELO, right? That's all Jeff Lynne. Billie Eilish's album is literally just her and her brother. So each artist operates differently. I mean, as long as it sounds good to me, I don't really care where it came from. And I think the song sounds pretty good, especially that ending where like all the vocals stack. It's like I'm ascending into like Selena heaven.
Selena heaven.
Yeah, I
wrote the quota. Is this the Waverly Place? Because I'm feeling some magic.
Oh God.
And with that, we have to end the podcast early.
Oh no.
Oh.
I wasn't a fan of that chanting at the end. Like I was over it as soon as it started.
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it. I think the choral like nature of it, how they have a whole bunch of voices together, I really liked it. I liked how it sounded.
But it was just the chanting of the one chorus line over and over and over. Like everything, it sounded great, but just they'd been doing that so much throughout the song. I was sick of it by the time it started for the whole minute-long end sequence. Like I got the feeling that it was trying to convey, but it was over.
Oh, I liked that. I thought it was neat.
I just think it's neat.
This is actually probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I don't know. I play the single because I have the single, and then I have the album all together, like on my phone, and I like find myself pressing on playing the single all the time.
I thought it was.
I was just gonna say to each their own.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good love ballad, or I guess loss of love ballad.
Loss of love ballad, a breakup ballad.
A breakup ballad.
I might say.
I mean, if you're in for something completely different than Sam, we can move on to track number 5.
Track number 5, Ring.
I liked this song.
It had a very interesting backing track, very minimalistic and constantly changing. But dear Lord, how many times can you sing a chorus in 2 minutes?
It's got some spicy guitar. It's got that glass tapping combo.
The chorus was sung at least 5 times in 2 minutes.
And it's sassy.
Maybe more. Maybe it was 7. I lost count.
Sam,
I like it. You guys can just argue all you want. Oh wait, I have a little paragraph written. I can read my paragraph later. You guys just argue this out. I'll be waiting here.
Sam, just because you think it's a little repetitive, I think it makes good use of what it's got.
I disagree.
What do you think, Karmen?
All right,
I'm a tiebreaker.
I like this song a lot. This is another song that I kind of had to warm up to, but now that I've listened to it a couple times, I really, really liked it. I like the backtrack. I think the backtrack's really good. It's really different. It's very much something different than Selena has done in the past, so I thought it was very cool for her to like kind of explore some of that stuff. I like the vocals. I put a note in that I liked the multiple meanings of ring used in it, where it's like a lot of the different lyrics she has with the word ring in it, it's a different kind of ring. So like sometimes it's a ring around the finger, sometimes it's like ringing something like a bell or whatever, or like ringing like I think one of the uses is like her phone is ringing. So I thought that was fun. I don't know. I like double meanings of things and stuff like that, like plays on words. But yeah, I can see where Sam is coming from, where it's very different and it kind of takes some warming up to. But I've also listened to this, I don't know, probably at least 10 times completely, like since it's come out, if not more. So by now I do like the song and I think it's really good.
Oh, come on. It's got those backing vocals, Sam. It has an
The
electric
backing
guitar
vocals are
solo
really
thing. It's got trumpet. Come on.
The backing vocals are really great in this song. I really like that too. I didn't write that down, but now that you said it, I like it.
All the points you brought up, I think, are done better in later songs. So,
Not fair. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, there are elements in other songs. I just like the way they come together on this kind of spicy Spanish influenced tune.
for me,
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
all I
the
heard
vocals
were
aren't
the 7 instances of the chorus.
maybe the vocals aren't super varied, but I think I like the way the instrumentation develops underneath them.
There we go. Sounds good to me.
Well,
Fair enough.
we're all in agreement then.
Agree to
We're
disagree.
two-thirds-
Track number
We're
6.
2/3 in agreement.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Yes. So trying to. This one's a little more. I guess back to the synth. We've had a synth break in these last 2 songs,
Yeah.
and this one kind of brings back in. It's with a very like.
Back to the
It's very
minimalism.
ephemeral. It's got the minimalism coming back,
Mhm.
and there's like these interesting, kind of stacked whispery vocals with Selena.
Too close to the mic. Whispering
The
in your
kinda
ear.
The kind of staccato.
Yeah.
She's not too close. I don't think she's too close to the mic, but
you
it's
can
very
hear,
whispery.
You can hear her mouth sounds almost. That's the part I hate. Where like somebody's whispering, but they're so close to the mic, you hear their tongue slapping around in their mouth.
That's just another instrument.
I hate
I know
it.
what you're
It's so
talking about.
bad.
I know what you're talking about, and maybe it's because I've really only listened to this over my car speaker system, but I don't hear it.
Oh, if you've only listened to it over your car, you will not pick it up. But headphones, it makes it terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do not know what you're talking about, but I also hate that in songs. But yeah, but no, I also really like this song. I think the minimalism and kind of going back to it's not, I wouldn't call it a ballad, but it's very much like a slow jam kind of thing. I really liked it. The chorus is really simple, and I feel like it's really catchy. At least it was for me. And I liked the difference kind of between the chorus and the verses. But the pre-chorus verse, I don't really know what to call it, really transitions them well together, I think, in my opinion. And I really like that about this one.
I'll say that this was a good one, and I noticed while I was doing this about this point, I was like, man, I'm really ragging on. Like, it's been a fine album, but I feel like it's much easier to talk about things you don't like than to talk about things that are good.
Yeah, fair.
It's just easier to write, at least for me. But there was like at the 2-minute mark, I was like, all right, this is kind of jamming along, and then that there was that like really heavy drum and bells breakdown. That was
that was almost
really weird.
Tribal-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was not similar to anything that had been happening in the song at some point. And then after about like 30 seconds, it just moved on as if it had never happened. I was like, what was that? What was going on there?
I guess like just a little percussion breakdown.
Yeah, it was, but like
it didn't really add anything for me.
But it wasn't. None of those instruments were already in the song. It felt so out of place because they were even playing like a different beat almost than the rest of the song. It was, I don't know, that really took me out of it.
That could have been one of the producers just throwing in something.
Maybe.
Like the producers of The Monsters and Strangers, or the producer of Bellion, or the producer Snoudle, or the producer Gian Stone.
What?
Jesus.
My goodness.
These songs have a lot of writers, and there's more writers than there are producers on that song too.
But
Like an
I
army.
really did not like that part. That part was pretty bad.
Yeah, this one's a pretty so-so out song.
Yeah.
I mean, the vocals are a little interesting at some points, but it's mostly just like a very relaxed synth ballad thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And, yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's all for me.
That's all, folks.
Sorry, I was doing other things at the same time. Managing Moobot. Track number 7. People You Know.
People You Know.
This one, when I recommended that we listen to this album for my guest appearance, this one and the next one, I think it was this one and the next one, were the ones that I was like nervous for you guys to listen to, because I remember when we listened to the Imagine Dragons album, a lot of the songs you guys ripped on, you hated because of how repetitive they were, and I know a lot of stuff that you don't like is because it's so repetitive, and these next 2 songs are like super repetitive. I think they're super.
They're definitely not super. They definitely don't go super places.
Do you want the rant now or later?
You know what? Break it out now, Sam.
Okay.
Get ready. Let it rip.
Halfway through the album, let's just.
It's like you read my mind, Carmen.
I know. I literally wrote it down in my notes.
I was listening to it. There was the drum breakdown in the previous song. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then we got into this one. And I'm like, this is it's easy listening, not offensive, just kind of there. So formulaic. Like, it starts with the slow drums, builds up after, backing, it cuts out, everything cuts out except for the vocal line. And then it keeps going. And then we'll build up again, and then all progression is dictated by adding additional vocal lines over the existing ones and, occasionally dropping everything out and bringing it back in to spice it up. And that's it. That's the whole song. And we've had about 4 or 5 of those before this point. And it's like, this does nothing new. It's all copy and paste. It was like, okay, I'm done with the easy listening elevator music. Let's move on to something else.
I don't think this album's been as bad with that as you think, but these 2 songs are definitely like People You Know sounds pretty similar to Vulnerable, and then Let Me Get Me also sounds pretty similar to People You Know. I think this kind of a similar streak it has going on here.
I think I'll surprise you with my comments for the next one. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I agree that this little 3 songs in a row are all pretty similar and vibe. But unlike you guys, these 3 songs are some of my favorite on the album. So I guess this is just the vibe that I guess that I really like from the album, because all these songs I wrote down. One of my favorite songs, People You Know, might be my favorite song on the album. And then I also like Let Me Get Me. But I don't know, I really like the melody, and harmony stacking. I like the vocals. I think the backbeat and the effects they do with it is really, really good. I think just in general, this song is really good. I'm also very much a pop fan, so I feel a lot of these just very generic pop songs are some of my favorites just because I like it so much. Music I like.
I mean, a lot of them are definitely pop sensibility. I think for the most part, Selena's been pretty good, at least at doing a different take on some of the pop songs. Mm-hmm. Though I think this kind of swing of things kind of falls into the trap of being more kind of just a vibe. Which is fine, right? It gets its job done. But it just doesn't really lend itself to repeated listen. So kind of noticing any intricacies in it.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't write anything else for this one. It was just it all came to a head right on the song. So
I guess we will differ on that one because I really like this song, but that's just me.
Yeah, to each their own.
Yeah. Yep.
And we can move on to track number 8 then. Right. Let Me Get Me.
Yeah. All
right, surprise us, Sam. What do you have to
surprise
say?
Us.
Let me get me.
I can't talk and type at the same time. Give me a second.
Okay.
Well, then don't.
Well, if I do, I'm going to start typing what I'm saying into the track title.
I secretly really love Selena Gomez, please.
No, but I was just ragging on the formulaic thing, but this one is fantastic. I love the backing track on this one.
Ooh!
Oh, look at that.
It's super short, and extremely repetitive, but just something about the filter on the keyboard and the chopstick, drumstick kind of thing is amazing. I will say, why was she a wooing?
I actually laughed when the ow. It reminded me of if you ever watched Futurama, the Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Ow.
But like, it just, I was like, you're a bit old to be going through your, middle school goth phase. You don't have to woo after everything.
I think it's just for effect. I don't think Selena knows what that woo is. Or at least I hope not.
I think if she knows what ooh is, I don't think it was supposed to be that way. I think it might have just turned out that way. Because I do, like, in that little clip of her singing that, I do hear, like, auto-tune in it. So,
for sure.
It's definitely auto-tune. But I mean, it's like pitch shift.
When she sang it, or whoever else sang it, because there are a lot of people who went into the background vocals of the song, or of the album, I mean, whoever sang it, I don't think that's what they set out to do, but that's what it ended up as for sure. So there it is. But yeah, I also really like this song. Like I said, these few right in the middle are kind of some of my favorites. I think it's a really good dance beat, kind of like Dance Again, but I do like this song better. It does repeat a lot, but I feel like it is kind of just a dance song. I mean, it might not just be a dance song, but I really, really like this song. And it's also, I feel like it's also very different than like stuff she's done in the past. So I thought it was cool that she was like doing something different. And I like the, I don't know, I guess the backtrack of it is different, and it reminded me of something, but I like couldn't put my finger on what exactly it reminded me of. So I didn't end up writing that down. But I listened to it a couple times, and I'm like, what does this remind me of? And I just couldn't come up with it.
I'm not sure if I didn't think of it that reminded me of anything particular. But you're probably more familiar with like the pop scene nowadays than I am.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, I just it just came out of nowhere. I really like this one. I wasn't a huge fan of the drums that got added in later. It sounded kind of like those inflatable sticks you bang together at sporting events. Those were kind of harsh, but there was a lot of wooing, like a lot. But that backing beat that right from the get go that hooked me.
Let you look past the woos.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump to track number 9 then.
Yes. Crowded Room featuring Black. The first feature on the album.
That says 6 Lack Cooper.
No, it's pronounced Black though. The 6 is supposed to be like a curvy B.
I literally talked to somebody about this album like a week ago, and I was like, I literally said 6 Lack, and they were like, who are you talking about? And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't listen to whatever kind of music he does. I don't really listen to, so I thought it was 6 Lack.
He does some rapping. He does some singing as well. He chose to rap on this song.
He raps and sings. Is that this one or is that the other one? I think it's this one where he kind of sings.
The other one has singing. All right, I'll get to that.
Sounds like you and I are in agreement on that one.
Oh,
Cooper.
no!
I got a vote if it would Kid Cudi.
I'm talking about the other one. No, you're right.
Yeah, but this one, it came back with the minimalism style to the absolute maximum.
Very stripped back.
Like there's
probably
nothing.
the most on the album.
And Jesus Christ, the clapping! I hate it. I hate any song that has clapping now. I just despise.
Yes,
it's
join
terrible.
me.
I don't know if it's because of Green Day or what, but it's just if it has clapping, I automatically hate it.
You don't like some good hand collision, Sam?
No, it's just too much. It's all the time, just constant.
It kind of sticks out more on this song considering it's so stripped back, right?
Yeah.
The claps just cut through.
Honestly, it gets worse though. No, go ahead, Karmen. I'm just saying later on it gets even worse.
Yeah. I am not a big fan of this song. Both of the songs with features on the album I'm not very big fans of. But this one has a very lo-fi hip-hop songs to study / relax to vibe to it. And it's not that I don't like songs like that, but I just don't really like this one. And I'll say later, like, that I like the album as a whole, and there aren't really any songs I skip, but, like, this one is definitely weaker, in my opinion.
This would be the song I skip.
Fan of it. Yeah.
It's pretty, yeah. I mean, besides the fact that it has a feature, which is, there's only 2 on this album, so that's kind of novel. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Black really brings this pretty mediocre rap verse. Like, I guess it fits the vibe of being, like, laid back and low key, but if it was removed, it basically would be the same song. Not exactly feeling like he put his heart into this one.
I mean, actually, I have to completely disagree with you there, Cooper. I think his section of the song is infinitely better than Selena's section of the song.
Really?
Wow.
She is so repetitive, and I know I keep saying it, but just saying the same thing over and over. And the worst part of this one is she's singing the chorus and then singing new lyrics, but using the chorus melody. So it sounds the same. So it's repetitive lyrically and vocally, which is a big no-no, at least, in this situation. But once he came in, and it was a beautiful respite from just the chorus over and over again, and then she came back in and the chorus continued. It just, I can't, I don't know, something about the chorus in this one was just bad. Just never went away. Always there.
A little numbing.
I think the clapping got me on edge for this one.
It's always there, counting in 2/4.
I'm actually going to have to disagree with you, Sam, and go back to Cooper, where I liked Selena's part more than I liked Black's part. I literally wrote, I don't know who Black is, but I don't know if I like him, LOL. Good rap verse, though, although it's not great. That is literally word for word what I wrote down.
I mean, I haven't listened to too much of his stuff. I know he's coming out with an album this year, I think. But beyond that, I haven't listened to too much of his stuff, and this is not making me want to look into more of his stuff. I've heard like a feature here and there, but I've never listened through one of his albums all the way through. Yeah, just kind of very okay, like feel by the numbers rap verse on a pop song. Doesn't really bring any energy to it, I think, or character, which I think is the most damning thing.
And I think if you feature someone on your track, I feel like you kind of, not that you want them to stand out, but you want them to bring something. Like, most songs that I hear, I'm like, okay, yeah, this person brought something, whether it was a new idea or whether it was like a new feeling or whatever. I feel like he just didn't really bring anything. Like, it was good for a rap verse, but like, he just didn't bring anything to this song for me. So,
yeah, this is a pretty skippable one for me.
Like, I'll listen to it if it comes on, but it's not like I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I enjoy like Let Me Get Me or Lose You to Love Me or something, which are definitely my favorites.
Yeah,
but
it's just a bit weak.
Well, we can move on to a stronger song with track number 10, Kinda Crazy.
Ooh, kinda crazy.
That's not a Z.
That's not a Z.
This one,
crazy.
I didn't have a lot to say about this one again. I really liked there was that background trumpet that was mimicking the vocal line.
Oh yeah, I like that trumpet.
And there was some nice like wind chimes in there. But there's clapping. It's back.
Okay. The clapping is on this one, but I think it's just because the instrumentation's a lot lusher, like that piano on the bridge. Ooh.
Yeah.
This one definitely kind of, it doesn't go back to like how minimal some of the other ones were, but it's definitely not as like backed and like supported as some of the other songs. So I think the clapping, which I don't know if I would consider it clapping or more just like a beat that's like a higher notation kind of thing. It definitely like helps support it, I feel like, because it doesn't have a lot of the like super like low stuff.
Yeah, and it's built on a pretty good guitar lick. That really plucky, going all through it. Mm-hmm. And then you got the instrumentation that kind of builds with piano and the trumpets. I think this is a pretty enjoyable song overall. Not the standout of the album, but pretty good overall.
I think I was just
Go
worn
ahead.
down by the previous chorus, and this one had a pretty repetitive chorus as well. So I was not ready for it again, and was just ready to give up.
I will say that this song has a very interesting plot and lyrics. Like, I think the kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say the reason the song was written, but like the theme of the song is very interesting, and like some of the lyrics are not laughable, but like they're kind of cheesy, and like some of the rhymes are kind of cheesy. And I do like this song, but I like it mostly because of the backtrack and the music part of it, and not as much of like the lyrics. Like, I like her voice in it. I think she sounds good. But it's just some of the lyrics are just kind of far out for me. Not far out, but they're just they're very simple, and the rhymes are very simple. And so I feel like some of the lyrics just don't go there for me in a way that, like, I'm like, wow, that's a really fun line. I'm just like, oh, all right, Selena, you just said that, but okay, I guess you can just say that. That's fine.
Well, she's kind of crazy.
Yeah, she is.
Just a little crazy. Selena can have a little crazy.
Selena can have a little crazy.
You
You
can
know,
have a
as
little crazy.
I am once again asking for you to get
I'm once again asking for some crazies.
a little crazy.
Why isn't there a Bernie feature on this album? Come on, guys.
God, I wish. I mean, honestly, if anybody's gonna do it, Ariana Grande's gonna do it because she loves Bernie.
Jumping to track 11 then. Fun.
Fun.
This is the most egregious clapping that is on this album.
Okay, this is some very obvious clapping.
It is the crispest sound on this track.
It's so
It's over
punctuated.
the vocal line. It's not mixed at all. It's just on top. And it's so bad. It hurts.
As out front as the clapping is, I do like the kind of carefree poppy feel of the song. It's like a nice fun snack, you know, like a Thin Mint.
This was the Sex Sells track, Cooper. What are you talking about?
I said it was carefree.
Fair enough. You said nice fun snack. To me that sounded different.
Snacks can be sexy, Sam.
No,
Exhibit
I
A,
don't like
you.
that. Oh god. All right, well, I really like this song. I feel like it's a really strong, like, generic pop song, in my opinion, from, like, all the pop that I've listened to in my day. I think it's really strong. I think the backtrack is really good, and I love the little guitar riff that they have.
The counter riff so cute on this one.
It comes in every once in a while, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, there's the guitar. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun. Get it? But I don't know. I wrote the backtrack is good. The verses are strong to me. The pre-chorus is good. The chorus is really good. And I like the lyrics. So I just all around really like this song. I had little bad things to say about it, but I also very much like that song. So
I also think it's pretty nice. I like the use of violin when it like comes in.
yeah.
And the clapping is way too up front in the mix. I agree, Sam.
Maybe my ears just aren't attuned to like the clapping as much attuned to the clapping as your guys's are, but like I didn't write anything about clapping on any
For some reason I definitely
it's just me.
I think it depends on like how much you like try to notice it during an album. Like for me, this I noticed it a lot less on this album than on the Green Day one.
Yeah.
Even though they're probably in the same amounts.
This one I was desperately trying to listen to anything else, but whenever I listened to it, I couldn't write anything else. I couldn't hear anything past the clapping. It was like the top of the pile, and I kept pushing it out of the way, and it just kept flowing back on top. Yeah, so it was hard to pick up on a lot of those other details for me because the just clapping was like right there on top of everything. So it was, a very good song. Lots of moaning and breathy.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is true.
This song is really catchy to me. Like, this is one of the couple songs on the album that I like consistently get in my head. Like, after I've listened to the album or something, and I like go to work whatever, this is one of the songs that just gets in my head because of how catchy it is. It's a little repetitive, but just the guitar riff in the middle, and just the simple chorus, like just the few words that are actually in the chorus, just get stuck in my head really easy.
It's a overall neat little song. I think it's just fun and carefree.
I like it.
Summer and breezy.
Because it's the song.
Hey, whoa, Sam.
10 out of 10.
Sam, not to cut you off. Track number 12.
Track number 12. Cut you off.
Oh, I said that.
This is not really a fun fact, but it's something that I noticed. This is the only song on the album that's explicit, which is fairly uncommon for former Disney starlets. Like, you see girls break away from Disney, like Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus, and break away and they release an album, and like a lot of the tracks have explicit songs on them. Selena Gomez went 2 albums without an explicit track on it, and this one has 1.
I didn't even notice any explicit language in this one, honestly.
She says frick once.
Oh, no.
And she says shoot once or twice, too.
Oh, my.
No, I don't know why it's explicit. I didn't hear anything either.
Well, I mean, if you have anything that's worse than, like, heck and donkeys, then I think you have to put an explicit.
Yeah, you can't say the F word without it being explicit. Think of the children, Sam.
It's not like in movies where you get one F-bomb and you can still call it PG-13. In music, the minute you mutter the first F in that word, they have to slap an explicit on it because of I actually learned about this in History of Rock and Roll. So I think 1970s or 1980s, a whole bunch of parents were getting really, really upset because their kids were going and buying albums and then bringing them home and listening to them, and they had bad language on them. And a whole bunch of parents rose up and were like, this is crazy. How can we figure out, like, what our kids are listening to? Like, we can't pre-listen to all these albums before the kids go and buy them, because they're literally going out on the day the album drops and buying them. Because before then, it was just kind of, oh, parents, you need to regulate what your kids are listening to. But they're like, we can't do that. So in the way that parents do, they said, we can't do that. You do it for us, because they're great parents. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so basically they not bullied, but they pressured the music industry into doing an explicit, like putting an explicit block on albums that had bad words in it. And initially they wanted the record industry to break it up into different kinds of explicit marks on the album, to where it would tell you if the language was explicit, if the material was sexual in any way, and they wanted to put that explicit, like there would be a different sticker on it, or if it promoted drugs and alcohol on it, and that would be like a completely different sticker. And then on top of all those 3 different things that they wanted the record companies to label them by, they wanted them to like rate it on a scale of like 1 to 10 or something, with 1 being the least and 10 being the most. So like if Selena's album had been put out, I'd say maybe like a 2 out of 10, just for the bad words. And that doesn't even count like if there are sexual innuendos in it, or if there are drug references. They wanted a 1 to 10 mark on every single sticker that you put on there. And the record company said, man, we just simply, like, we literally cannot do that. You don't realize how many artists are putting out music literally every single day, all the time. And so they said, we can compromise with you and do this, which is we're just going to make 1 little sticker that says explicit material, buyer be warned, and we can put that on it. But further from there, if you see your kid has one of those, you need to do the work, because you're the parent. Like, it should be your job to do this. It's not our job as the record company. We make the music and promote it. We have enough of a job to do to begin with. So that's actually where that came from, because prior to, I don't remember exactly what year, but prior to that, years in like the 70s or 80s, there weren't any stickers on anything.
Huh.
And so, D&D is devil worship.
That's your rock and roll history of rock and roll class fun fact of the day.
Maybe people should just not swear on albums. Come on, doy guys. There you go.
Boy.
That old boomer generation growing up, and you can't have what we had, that made us turn out bad. So at least I got one thing right. But yeah,
Sam, our audience is 90% boomers. You can't say that.
I don't think they are.
I saw the demographics.
The youngest boomers are 60, so
Mm-hmm.
not too many of those know how to use the internet.
Yeah, technically my dad, I think, is technically a boomer.
Yeah.
I don't think my mom is technically a boomer, but I think my dad is like right on the cusp.
Although usually that's used more in connotation with 70 and up.
Right, yeah.
But this one had a nice bit of guitar solo on it.
Oh yeah, the song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the album. This
one also is kind of a chill hip hop lo-fi beats to study to or whatever. It's pretty chill, but I liked it a lot. Like you said, there's a guitar solo in it, and I really enjoyed the guitar solo. I honestly wish, because I'm also a big classic rock fan, so I honestly wish more pop songs had like guitar solos in them or like drum breakdowns or literally anything like that. Like I just crave more of it. So I really enjoyed that. I crave it. But I enjoyed that in this song. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this one, it's got like a non-existent backing track for the most part. Like a ticking clock and some bass hits. And it works. But I swear, one of the producers on this album really dislikes complex musical lines. Because there's not been a single complex musical line throughout this whole thing. There's been some complex vocal lines, but no complex musical lines.
They kept it nice and lean for this album.
Yeah. Extra
It's
lean.
the new pop trend. So, Billie Eilish won Album of the Year now. You gotta go lean.
But hers was good because it was novel, you know?
Well, it's good because she had a good producer.
That's true. Yeah. As Matt says, don't ask questions, just consume product and get excited for next product.
Me.
Yeah. Now that's punk.
like literally Selena went on Jimmy Fallon to promote this album, and Jimmy Fallon asked her if there's anything else that she's excited to release in the near future, and she said she's got another single that she didn't put on this album called Boyfriend that she'll be releasing like in the next few months. So excited for next product. That's me.
Next product. I hope it's about Justin Bieber. I put about Justin Bieber's boyfriend.
Jump to track 13.
Ah, yes. A Sweeter Place featuring the one and only Kid the Knee Cudi.
Oh my god. So yeah. I have opinions on this one. I hated this as the final track of the album. I absolutely hated it. Like I really wish that she had switched Sweeter Place and Cut You Off. I feel like Cut You Off is a really good ending track. Like not only is the title of it really funny as the ending of an album, like Cut You Off. That's it. That's the album. Go home. Goodbye, everybody. But also like I really liked the way Cut You Off ended, and I just don't like this song like really at all. I just feel like Cut You Off would be a really strong ending song, and the fact that it ends and then it leads into this is like, oh, there's more. This isn't even that great. Like you could have just ended it there, or like given me something else that was better. Like, why did you do this to me?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that this would be featuring Kid Cudi, I thought to myself, okay, is this going to be rapping Kid Cudi or singing Kid Cudi? It ended up being singing Kid Cudi. I'm like, oh no.
He can't sing.
That's
an
his two
observation
modes.
we made about when we listened to the last rap album. Rappers are not singers, and they shouldn't try it.
Some rappers are actually pretty good singers.
They are the outliers and should not be counted.
No, there's quite a few, or at least their singing has a lot of character that makes up for its flaws. Kid Cudi's singing is not very good. He has a whole album.
It's garbage, is what it is.
It's very auto-tuned, and it's painful for me to listen.
Oh no, I've heard worse. If you ever have a chance, listen to the album "Speeding Bullet to Heaven," which is Kid Cudi's, which is basically him only singing over like kind of rock tracks, kind of. I want to put a speeding bullet into my head.
That sounds horrid.
It's a rough one. He's a much better rapper than a singer, in my opinion.
This was a terrible song to end on.
Maybe if they had put Kid Cudi rapping on the other song where they had Black on it, maybe Black is a better singer and he should have sung on this track.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They should have switched roles, but
maybe
I guess the powers
be the producer.
Apparently the powers that be decided that was.
I guess. Basically, all I had written for this was that I hated it as a final track. I really didn't like his verse in it. I said maybe it's his voice or that I just didn't like how it fit in the track, but I feel like it takes away from the song, and I really just don't like that he's there.
It is an odd ending.
I think they should have just cut the track.
Yeah, honestly, if they had put it somewhere else, or if they had just cut the track, I would have been fine.
I don't think putting it anywhere else would save it. It sticks to the formula that I ranted about earlier, and it's got the terrible singing. I think just cut it. It's fine.
It's fine. The only thing I think that redeemed it was like some of Selena's singing. Like, I didn't think it was all horrible. Like, all of her vocals weren't great. And I liked the pre-chorus, but like that's it. That's really all I had positive to say about it.
Yeah. I'm always against albums that end on like a feature, just because I feel like that kind of takes away from like the artist is like, this is our closing track, right? Especially this song ends on Kid Cudi singing "Ooh."
Yeah,
it's not even on Selena's vocals.
And that's another reason why "Cut You Off" could have been a really great ending song, because it's just her. Like, that's it. It's all her.
So yeah, not a huge fan of this song.
Not a fan.
So that's the end of Rare by Selena Gomez.
Not the deluxe version. The deluxe version has other singles. Go listen to it. They're great. I enjoy almost all of them.
There is a deluxe version. I think it's released in like Japan or something.
Yeah, it was released in Japan, and they're going to release the deluxe version. I think it's going to be like a Target exclusive. They're going to release it with the singles that I talked about earlier, and then probably Boyfriend when it comes out. They're going to release it in Target.
Man, why is Japan always getting the deluxe versions of things?
Yeah, I know. Every ELO album has an extra song that's only released in Japan. I don't know why.
I don't know. I guess they just like it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite albums when I was a kid was an Ashley Tisdale album, and she released the title track to the album that I really, really liked only in Germany. And when I tell you, I was so upset that she released it in Germany, and I could not find it. I could not pirate it anywhere on the internet. I could not find it. I was so livid. I was like, Mom, I want you to buy me an album from Germany. She was like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to hear this song.
It's not covered by my LimeWire premium account.
I actually never used LimeWire. I only used other things. It's really funny because I used to pirate songs to put on my iPod all the time, but I never used LimeWire.
We got her, boys. This is actually not a podcast. It's a sting operation to catch you to admitting to music piracy.
All right.
Every episode has been leading up to this point.
Oh, okay. You thought you had me when we did the Imagine Dragons album, but you had to have me on again because I didn't fess up to anything.
Mm-hmm. So, Karmen, what is your favorite and least favorite track?
Okay, so I think my least favorite track is going to be A Sweeter Place. There's just not too many things that are redeemable about it, in my opinion. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't go out of my way to skip any song on this album, but this is definitely one that I could pass on, and I have passed on it a couple times when I'm listening through the album. And I think my favorite song would probably have to be a tie between Lose You to Love Me and Let Me Get Me. I think they're both really different, and they're really good in their own manner, and that's probably why I can't pick a favorite. If it had been between two super upbeat songs that are quite similar, I probably could have picked one. I do like Let Me Get Me more than People You Know. But just the power ballad that is Lose You to Love Me just really gets me, and it's so it's such a strong song for her because she wrote it about her past relationship that took up so much of her life, and it's very I don't know what I was gonna say, but it's a great song. I really like it, and kind of her comeback kind of is in that song, and that made me really happy. And then Let Me Get Me is just a really good dance song. It's a really good pop song, and I'm a sucker for a good pop song, so that would have to be my least favorite and my tie for first.
How about you, Coop?
Well, I'd have to say that my favorite song is a little ditty known as Ring. It just makes me happy. It's so spicy, and it's got the little ringing sounds, and the trumpet and the electric guitar. And I just really like to listen to this one.
Very spicy.
Maybe it repeats the chorus a couple times. Maybe she says the word ring more than once. I don't care. I like this song. As for least favorite, as tempting as A Sweeter Place would be, I'll have to go with the song with the other feature, which is Crowded Room. This one was just too stripped back. It had too little going for it. That made me kind of glaze over while I was listening to it. And Black really doesn't bring too much to the verse in terms of rapping. So I just don't care for this one.
And I'm gonna have to go complete opposite of you, Coop, because I will say A Sweeter Place is my least favorite, but followed closely by Ring.
Wow.
I really did not like that song.
Out of all the songs, Ring's the second least favorite.
I actually have it marked this time. This is the first time I marked. Usually I decide on the fly, kind of guns blazing, whatever I feel like. But this one I actually marked. I listened to it, I'm like, this is actually the worst one. And then...
I guess you can't buy taste.
Well, we know that. We know that because you would have by now. And then my favorite...
Sam, I will fight you over Selena Gomez.
Do it.
This will be where the gloves come off.
My favorite will be Let Me Get Me. It follows the formula, but I can't get past that backing track. The backing track's too good. I wasn't even listening to the rest of the song. I was just jamming out to the backing track the whole time. So yeah, that's the favorite and least favorite.
Nice.
So final impressions.
Final rating?
Karmen, what is your final rating?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Wait, do you wanna explain the ratings?
Oh, right.
I was like, I can rate it, but they won't know what I'm talking about if they're listening for the first time.
I'm gonna have to set up your whole thing. I forgot to set one of these up beforehand. But do the rating system text real quick. Cooper, actually, you want to explain it this time while I set up Karmen's...
You know what I do? So, Shoppies, as you may see, we have a rating system on our screen. Since we know so much about cars, me and Sam, and Karmen, of course, we're car people. We like to get behind the wheel, change the oil, put in some headlight fluid, all the good car stuff. So we use this car rating system. So our best is Showroom, which is the tip top, cream of the crop. This is the good stuff that you want to show everyone you know. Then at the bottom, you got Scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. Ooh, yeah, I don't even want to touch it. Get it away from me.
Ooh, you
that
get
kind
that
of
away
stuff.
from me. Where?
Yeah, no, not even where. Just toss it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, get that away from me.
And then, of course, we'll give it like a high or low if we want to have some wiggle room. And I suppose I'll do my rating first. I feel like giving Miss Gomez a pretty low, very low, like new. I came out of this album, enjoying it. I thought it was, it's not like it's groundbreaking. It's not exactly inventing something out of the blue. Yeah. But for a pop album, her first pop album in 5 years, I think Selena goes to some interesting places. And even though she has a dud here and there, even the most of the songs are at least agreeable, and I think quite a few of them are very enjoyable. So I'd like to give it a like new.
Sam, go ahead.
Well, I'm not gonna give it as high a praise. I thought it was an alright album. A little too formulaic for my tastes. A little bit too bare bones. So I decided I wanted to give it a fixer-upper. I'm thinking low fixer-upper, probably. I think it's a good listen. Definitely, a couple of the songs are a little bit too easy listening, but it's a good album overall, and not what I was expecting in the slightest.
All right, good deal. I am just happy to be here, and I'm happy that you liked this album more than the last album. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna give it like new. I really liked it. I think it's a really strong pop album, and I think it's a really strong album for Selena too. It's not the perfect pop album. Like, there's definitely albums in mind that I would definitely give Showroom to. But this is kind of where I said I don't really skip any songs on it. And though I feel like there's only a couple weak songs, and some songs only have a couple weak parts for me. So I feel like it's a good solid like new. And I wrote like when my dad bought a quote unquote used Ford Escape from 2015 in the year 2018, and it had about 60,000 miles on it. That's my comparison. Because we're a car podcast.
We're a car podcast. Now this is podcasting.
Now this is podcasting.
Yeah, but
that was
there we have it.
That was Rare by Selena Gomez. Thank you so much for joining us, Karmen.
Thank you for having
me. It was wonderful to have you as a guest.
Yeah.
For a redeeming album.
And now we'll transfer over to the spare tire for the week, which is just our little extra track, what we've been listening to aside from the album, since Cooper listens to about 14 metric tons of albums per week.
I like my music.
Yeah. So, Karmen, what have you been listening to this week aside from Rare?
Well, Selena Gomez actually released another single after this album called Feel Me. It's a track that she did on her revival tour, but that's not my spare tire. It's just something that I've been listening to with the album, kind of. It fits with it pretty well. But my spare tire is a song called Good Thing by Zed and Kehlani. I don't know if you know who Zed or Kehlani is. Kehlani is just a singer-songwriter, I believe. And Zed is like an EDM music producer. He's probably one of the most famous. He's definitely my favorite. And basically, it's just like a being a strong, independent woman ballad, and not
yes.
ballad, but a strong, independent woman like track. The lyrics are really great in it. The whole like everything that Zed does in it is phenomenal in my opinion. I think it's the best song that I've ever heard. And I just like the first time I listened to it, this came out like in November or so of last year. But the first time I listened to it, I like literally listened to it 5 times in a row because I loved it so much. And like it's just one of those songs that I can't get enough of. It's so good. I love it so much. So that's my spare tire, bringing it back from when I listened to it about 10 times a day, right back when it came out, and I only listen to it every once in a while now because there's a lot more new music that I've been listening.
How about you, Coop?
Oh, well, I've listened to a little bit of music this week. I listened through the King Cruel discography. Definitely on a recommendation from an old high school friend. It's got some, because his new album just came out, Man Alive. Well worth looking into if you're looking for some sad boy alternative rock. Extremely English sad boy alternative rock. It feels like you're in some sort of like British wasteland. It was definitely good snowy, rainy mood music. And then I'd also recommend, if you're in the mood for some jazz pianists, listen to Scenery by Ryo Fukiya. He's a Japanese jazz pianist. My brother recommended to me, and his album Scenery is delightful. It's got some just amazing piano work. Like, this guy's doing things I could never do. So I definitely recommend giving it a listen.
I've been listening to I listened to a little bit more of that Planet Pimp by
Planet Pimp. Oh.
Yeah, by Slim and Pimp Sessions. The jazz. Finish that album off. Very good. Highly recommend. And also, Gorillaz just dropped a single.
They did.
Wow.
3 days ago. They've started
Delante?
Desolé.
Desolé, that was it.
And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I was a bit wary of it because I saw it was premiering later in the day, and because they started this new thing called Song Machine, where they release songs every once in a while. And they had already released one month ago called Momentary Bliss, and it was okay. You know,
I liked it. It had
right.
slaves on it.
But then this one premiered, and it was a heck of a lot better. It's a very good song, very relaxed, more in line with the now as opposed to previous Gorillaz discography. But it was, pretty nice. Bringing in some various artists to sing along. Got a nice little kind of like vlog that they do, and then they animate the characters over top of it as well.
Where they're just like boating around.
Yeah.
Is that like the music video? It's like a vlog style kind of thing?
Yeah, but like it's a vlog, but with the Gorillaz cast in it, 2D and Murdoch and all those guys. So it's interesting to see that sometimes they pretend to interact with them, and sometimes they just kind of are there as well. So, but it's a very good song. It's also mostly French, I believe.
Oui, oui.
So I don't know what was being said at all, but it sounds very good.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it. That is the end of this week's Audio Shop podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, Karmen.
Thank you for having me again.
You were a wonderful guest.
And it was nice to talk about an album that wasn't the lowest rated album of all time.
I enjoy being here and talking positively about music.
Yeah.
Yes.
That we all enjoy.
And if you're just now tuning in and you're like, hey, I kind of like the sound of these guys, then you can head on over to YouTube, where all of our past archives are. Every single one in its entirety, for better or for worse. And then if you're on
Don't
YouTube
listen to
right
my
now,
other one. Just listen to this one.
Yeah. Well, the other one's pretty. I will say, when we listen to bad albums, it's pretty entertaining.
It was entertaining.
And if you're on YouTube and you're like, hey, these guys are pretty cool, you can hop on over to Twitch and watch us live Sundays at 8 p.m. and join into this chat stream. There's been a lot going on today there. A couple of new commands and all that jazz, so it's very lively. You can have some fun while the grown-ups talk. Or rather, the grown-ups can talk, and then Cooper and I can have some fun. Because I feel like we're the kids in this situation.
A kid in a candy shop, Sam.
Well,
every day I'm talking to you, that is.
Oh, thank you. But Cooper, where can they find out what album we're listening to next?
I don't know. Yeah, no, you can go to Audio Shop 14 on Twitter. I'll keep you updated about what album we're going to be listening to in the next week. So keep an eye on that. Subscribe or follow or heart, ring the notification bell, and you'll be able to listen along to whatever we're reviewing.
Ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video.
Smash that like button
and subscribe.
Is there anything you'd like to shout out, Karmen?
I have a YouTube channel that I may or may not be posting on as soon as I can get my laptop back up and working. Most of my social media is Karmen_Elizabeth, Karmen with a K, Karmen. So if you want to follow me, I tweet about music often because I listen to a lot of it. So if you also enjoy sappy pop music and oldies and generally like most stuff except for like hip hop, rap, and country, that's the kind of music I listen to. Come talk to me about it. I very much enjoy music.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Later, shoppies.
See you, shoppies.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.